So let's look at the following problem. Find the sample mean, standard deviation, and variance of the following data. And this time we are given a group data, class 10 to 14, frequency 6, class 15 to 19, frequency 8, and class 20 to 24, frequency 3. Now we first will find the midpoint of each class. So the midpoint of the first class is 12, second class is 17, and third class is 22. And then we will demonstrate how to do it in the multi-view calculator. So the 12, 17, and 22 is our main data. So we will first clear the previous data by hitting the data button, and once it's on clear L1, we enter. And that clears any previous data. And now let's go back to see what the data was, and it was 12, 17, and 22. So go back to the calculator. First point was 12, enter, 17, 22. And then we scroll to the right to enter the frequencies. We'll enter the frequencies in the L2. So the first frequency was 6, then 8, and then 3. 6, 8, and 3. 6, enter, 8, enter, 3, enter. And now we do the second stat. One variable stats, enter. So data is in L1, and the frequency is now in L2. And enter. So X bar is the sample mean, which would be 16.12 if we were to round to 2 decimal places. So sample mean is 16.12. Standard deviation is 3.64. Remember, Sx is the sample standard deviation. 16.12 and 3.64. And let's say we have these directions. Find to the nearest hundredth, to 2 decimal places. Back to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we have these two. And then S square is the sample variance. And this one is not given directly, so we need to square it. So we have the S. So once we go on Sx, we can hit the square button and enter. And square button here again. So Sx square is right here, 13.235. So it would be 13.24 to 2 decimal places. Okay. Problem, find the weighted and unweighted mean of the following sample. So sample values are in the first column, weights are in the second column. So for the unweighted mean, we ignore the weights, and it's just the values that we take into account, 10, 15, and 17, and we find their mean in the usual way. We add them up and divide by how many there are. So 10 plus 15 plus 17 divided by 3 gives us 14. That's the unweighted mean. So the weighted mean we multiply the values with the weights, add these results, and then divide by the sum of weights. So we do 10 times 4 plus 15 times 5 plus 17 times 7, and we divide it by the sum of the weights, 4 plus 5 plus 7, and that gives us 14.625. Next problem, a student got A in her 3 hours statistic class, 3-hour statistic course, B in her 4-hour physics course, C in her 3-hour English course, F in her 1-hour biology lab, and A in her 4-hour calculus course. And the question is to find the GPA, and we assume the usual values for the grades. A has 4 points, B 3 points, C 2 points, D 1 point, and F 0 points. And what we do is we list these points for the grades in the first column, and then the hours for each grade in the second column, and the hours serve as the weights. So 4 was 3 hours, a total of 7 hours. So grade A has a total of 7 hours because it's in this 3-hour statistics and in the 4-hour calculus. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So 7 hours of A. And for B, we have 4 hours. So 4 hours of B. C in a 3-hour English course, so 3 hours for C. F in her 1-hour biology lab. So if there was a D, then we would list D as well, but there is no D, so we directly go to F after C. So F counts for 0 points, and she had 1 hour of F in her biology lab. And like we said, we'll treat the hours as the weights. So we multiply the points of each grade with the hours. So 4 times 7 plus 3 times 4 plus 2 times 3 plus 1 times 1. And then we divide it by the number of hours. So 7 plus 4 plus 3 plus 1. And that gives us 3.1. Next problem, in a statistics class, homework counts for 10% of the grade, quizzes 20%, midterm exam 25%, and final 45%. A student scores 100% on homework, 95% on quizzes, 84% on midterm, and 89% on the final exam. Find her overall course percentage. So once again, we will list what the student scored in the first column. So 100 in the homework, 95 in the quizzes, 84 in the midterm, and 89 in the final. And the weights will be in the second column, and that's what each counts for. So the homework counts for 10%, quizzes for 20%, midterm 25, and final for 45. And it's the same way. We multiply the scores with the weights and divide by the sum of the weights. So 100 times 10 plus 95 times 20 plus 84 times 25 plus 89 times 45 over 10 plus 20 plus 25 plus 45, and that gives us 90.05% as the overall percentage.